Dan Howell is Dan Not on Fire, and Phil Lester is the amazing Phil. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Morning.
Hello. We are
Great,
fantastic.
thank you. Yeah, I've replaced all my blood with maple syrup now that I'm in New York, so I'm feeling
We
great.
are ready to go.
It's not really maple syrup. It is that corn stuff. I can't remember what they call it now. But
I'm not
anyway,
even sure what it is, but it's delicious.
Whatever it was. and a lot of it.
so you know what I love about you two is the fact that you've taken the technology that's available. You didn't wait for some producer or director to say, "Here's your opportunity." You made your own opportunity with what's available. YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, that's the exciting thing about YouTube, isn't it? It's a place for independent creativity. It's just people that want to sit down with the camera, what they can find around their house, and just make whatever they want to and put it on the internet. And if someone ends up, being able to make a living and have a huge audience supporting them from making this completely independent content, that's just amazing.
It's great, and it didn't even start off with the view to get an audience. I was just making videos for fun because I enjoyed it, and then if one or two people watched them, I was like, great. But now there's so many people watching us, and it's just turned into this huge thing that was completely unexpected.
It is kind of funny. I mean, you've almost got that rock star feel to you. You've almost got that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I think they do.
Yeah, they do.
Are rock
Really?
stars.
Yeah. Do you guys play musical instruments at all?
I can play the piano and the drums.
Yeah, I'm the most uncoordinated person ever, so if you...
You've got a good baritone voice, though, Phil.
Maybe quite a deep voice. Maybe I could try some singing at some point. But no...
That's the next chapter for Dan and Phil, but no music at the moment.
But no, I would not relate myself to a rock star because I think I'm just more of a relatable, awkward human that trips over his own feet on the way down the street.
Yeah, I think what's special about YouTubers and the reason why, young people on the internet kind of really feel quite passionately about these people on the internet is because they're just relatable. They're everyday people. They're not glossy, media-trained, TV and film stars. They're just kind of awkward, everyday people. They mess up. They have, awful stories that they want to share with people as anecdotes. And I think it's the intimate connection that you have with someone watching them through the internet and knowing that they made it all themselves that makes YouTube special.
Yeah.
And you guys met One Direction.
We did, yeah.
That was actually one of the first ever interviews we did because we do a show on BBC Radio 1. And they were like, hey, do you want to meet One Direction tomorrow? And I was like, what?
Like, you can't just throw that on us. We don't have much interview training, and you want us to interview, literally the most famous people in the entire world.
Yeah, we wrote about that in the book. We were in the car on the way to it, and I get really bad travel sickness. And we were trying to write questions. I was like, I feel so sick. I don't want to be sick on One Direction.
That was a scary day. But any bad experience for Dan and Phil ends up being a funny anecdote to share with the internet or to put in a book later. So
So the fact that you wrote a book, there is something being said about the two of you that you probably don't want us to know, and that's that you must have some discipline in order to do a regular show on YouTube, in order to publish a book, and then do a tour. They've got to have some discipline, but you don't want us to know that you're disciplined, right?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because, everyone's like, oh, yeah, you're relatable. You just spend all day in your pajamas. And when I can, I spend all day in pajamas. I get out of bed at 2 p.m. But honestly, when you love what you do so much and you're so inspiring and you can see what kind of, as you said, when you lighten up someone's day and you entertain them and you make them forget about, all their troubles in the world for 5 minutes, that really, is what gets you up in the morning. So, it's hard for us to feel unmotivated when we can kind of see the smiles in our audience faces.
Yeah, but writing the book was a lot of late nights and coffee towards the end. We were like, right, we've got to stop procrastinating now. We need to get it finished.
I can't tell you two apart, by the way. I can't tell who's who. Who's Dan?
Really?
I'm Dan. On the left, I have brown hair.
Yeah, well, we're on the radio. They can't see our hair, Dan.
We're the same height, and we have exactly the same haircut, which is really unhelpful.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
that was Dan's voice, and this is Phil's voice. You already know this is slightly more northern British accent.
I can definitely tell the difference. Yeah. No, I don't think any American's going to be able to decipher the two.
No.
So let me ask you this about the book. That's what you're on the phone to talk about today. What's the idea behind the book and the title? The Amazing Book is Not on Fire. What does that mean?
Well, it comes from our YouTube username. So I'm Amazing Phil, and Dan is Not on Fire.
Which was a name that I made when I was 13. You know those, embarrassing old Yahoo email addresses we all have?
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of cutekitten23@yahoo.com or whatever.
Yeah.
You all have those. That became my brand forever. So, any young people out there, be really careful what you sign up as your username. You're stuck with it forever.
So we just combined our usernames and thought, there we go, there's the title of the book. And it's basically chronicling everything we've done on YouTube and also how we got there, all our time before that, like awkward stories from our times at university and high school.
Wow.
And then also advice for if people want to make their own YouTube videos as well.
So it says
story.
you have over 8 million viewers. Now you have 8,000,002 because
Yes.
Robin and I just became subscribers. So.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Well, my main reason is I wanted to learn how to draw cat whiskers because it's always been a problem for me.
It's always been a problem.
That's good. We have a page in the book that teaches you how to draw the perfect, fabulous cat whiskers.
Yeah.
Although don't use a permanent marker, because we did that once. That stays on your face for days. Be very careful what pen you draw on your skin with.
One of the most amazing things about your book is that it is on the New York Times bestseller list.
I know, crazy, right?
That blew my mind.
I know, in our little category, I think we've been #1 for a few weeks. We had honestly no idea what to expect, so we're just ecstatic that people seem to be loving it so much.
Yeah.
That is cool. What does your family think about you? Are you either of you married?
No, I'm still, oh my God, don't ask me about my future. I have no plans for anything. I'm going with the moment. I'm going to have a bit of a crisis if I have to think about my future plans.
I think it might be on the bestseller list because my mum bought 10,000 copies or something.
But no, our parents love it, because there's a funny thing where, some people don't understand the internet, but my grandma had Twitter briefly.
What?
My grandma watches my YouTube videos, so, my grandma is down with the kids. She watches our videos on the internet. She forwards them to the people on her church.
Oh, that's too funny. So what are your plans in the U.S.? Are you going on any of the big talk shows? Are you going on Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or any of those guys?
Oh my God, would you be scared going on Jimmy Kimmel?
I'd be terrified. I don't know if we are yet. We're still formalizing what the
We're just
schedule
landed
is.
and processing the amount of sugar that we've just eaten at the moment.
Yeah.
It should be good. We want to go to a few places. I think we're going to, we're staying in New York, LA, and Chicago to kind of cross off, 3 zones of America to do some book signings for all of the people that have supported us and bought our book. So it should be fun.
There should be some topless women in Times Square about now. There was a story this morning in the news.
Really?
So yeah, so if you.
Oh, okay, so if we're walking past, that's a
Well, when I was
legal.
when I was your age, there were lots of topless women in Times Square, but they were behind doors.
You guys relate.
Yeah, now there's a McDonald's there. Yeah.
What is really marvelous about both of you gentlemen is that you're so genuine. I mean, you have no problem sharing your stories, and you're so relatable to your audience.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think that's what helps, isn't it? That people just feel like they can relate to us when they're watching our videos and reading the book.
There's a lot of pressure on social media to make it look like you're really perfect and have, this perfect life and you have no flaws. But I think what YouTube has shown is that if you actually open up about, with the things that you struggle with, about the things that, good and aren't good, but people really like that. The more honest and open you are about the things that we can all relate to, I think you have a more intimate connection with people, and that's what people really appreciate.
Well, you guys have really brightened our morning, and I know you're brightening the morning of 8 million plus people that subscribe to you. Phil Lester, Dan Howell, thank you guys for being on there. Be safe in America, and definitely come back.
You.
The website. How do we get the book?
Well, it should be in all good bookstores like Barnes & Noble and all the places around the country, or you could go to danandphilbook.com and it'll tell you a list of all the physical and online retailers where you can get it from. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you. Have fun. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.